All right, guys. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Okay. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the like button. You can hit it now or on the way out. Turn on notifications. This is going to be a good one, guys. Today, we're going to be doing Jimmy Carter and his wife, Rosalynn Carter. All right. I know every time you guys come to this channel, you be like, damn, ain't nothing but bad news. Somebody getting divorced. Not this time. We're going to talk about two people who have stayed married for 77 years. I mean, guys, think about it. That's what we want, right? That's what every man and woman wants. They want a long-term marriage, okay, that lasts until they die, right? To death do us part, right? I think most human beings do want that, for the exception of some people with some detrimental planetary alignments. Okay, and we've gone through people with that, with some detrimental planetary alignments, but this time we're going to be looking at some good stuff. Okay, we're going to look at their marriage from an astrological perspective. Okay, so we're going to dive deep into it. We got their birth time, so we can look at the houses. We can look at a lot of the aspects that made that 77-year marriage possible. That's the most important thing, is what made it possible, right? And look, they would always talk about one thing, and I'm going to get to that in the video, about one thing that really kept them together. And it's something that I use right now once I learned it, once I learned from them, what to do. They would always tell you what one thing they did to keep them together all this time. And of course, they got the aspects that kept them together all this time. But they were compatible, okay? They were very compatible, okay? Shout out to Rosalynn Carter. Rest in peace, RIP to her. Man, she was a loyal lady, okay? And we're gonna take a look at her chart to see why she was so loyal. Why she had the opportunity to stay in the 77-year marriage. We're also going to take a look at Jimmy Carter. He's in hospice care right now. So shout out to him for, really being in a marriage that long, guys. Isn't that something that's crazy, right? Can you imagine how many years of, being with that one person is? But you have to be designed for that, okay? Also, you have to be compatible with that person in order to, stay with them for a very long time like that. All right. So we're going to take a look and dive deep into both of their natal charts. And we're going to take a look at their wedding day. We're going to take a look at all that stuff. But the aspects we're going to be looking at, we're going to look at the trines. Okay. We're going to be looking at trines, sextiles, semi-sextiles, because those particular aspects are nice flows of energy. It's what gives them what they need to stay together. Okay, a lot of squares and stuff like that. I know somebody came in the comment section talking about some squares. Yeah, keep them together. Squares keep things interesting in the relationship, guys. Okay, they don't necessarily keep people together. Okay, there's a lot of people out here in relationships they don't want to be in. Okay, because of that square. Okay. So we're talking about being in a nice, flowing, happy relationship, okay? Squares keep things interesting, but it don't keep things together. Trust me, from all of my time of, doing consultation with clients over many, many years, especially couples, trust me when I say squares do not keep people together, okay? Squares will separate you like hell, okay? Oppositions will separate people. But, think about it. You got two opposing forces, right? So you're constantly being separated by that space in between that opposition, okay? So, it keeps things interesting. Squares in opposition keeps things interesting. But if you have an overabundance of squares, it's not going to work. If you have an overabundance of oppositions, the relationship's not going to work. And guys, look at my past videos. If you've seen this throughout, other couples, okay, that have gotten divorced and stuff. So we've seen that. So, but let's let's go ahead and get started on the charts and see why. Why the hell did they stay together for 77 years? I mean, good God, this is crazy, right? I was always interested in this. And, it boggles my mind. The planets don't lie, guys. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I love to see these two people together. I did love them to see them together when, when Rosalynn was living and stuff like that. So we go start with her anyway, because, ladies first. All right, Rosalynn Carter. All right, guys, she was born August 18th, 1927 at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Born in Plains, Georgia, down south, baby. All right, so let's take a look at her natal chart. All right. As we can see, right, we're going to start with the sun. You guys keep an eye on the little pointer here, all right, because we point stuff out, especially the aspects, all right? So let's look at her sun. Her sun is in the 12th house. She got Mercury in the 12th house. She got Neptune in the 12th house as well. All right. So we know the sun is in his rulership here. We all know that, guys. All right. So we know Leo is, got that rulership with the sun. So that's good because it's rising, right? So that's a beautiful thing. It is in the 12th house. So it's kind of secluded in the background, right? All right, so let's look at some relationship stuff, all right? We're not going to talk about any type of, her condition and stuff like that. That's for, I'll probably get that on my Patreon sometimes. Medical astrology of, what came about with all that stuff. But for right now, we're going to stick to why she stayed together with Jimmy all this time. I mean, damn. All right, so let's take a look at Venus. All right. Now, her Venus, now this is odd, all right, to be quite honest with you. With people with Venus in Virgo, because Venus is in its fall in Virgo, okay? So when you see young ladies with this particular planetary aspect, or when Venus is in Virgo, okay, when you see this with men and women, right, they really have a hard time finding a mate, okay, and because Venus is in its fall, I mean, they want love to be perfect to them, okay, and they always jeopardize stuff by trying to pick things out on the other person that's not perfect, and they end up sabotaging the relationship somehow, right? But for her, the reason she fared out well in her relationship and marriage and picking a person and picking a guy was because she has a sextile, okay, which is really nice to Juno. I mean, look at that. That is beautiful, okay? So that gave her the opportunity to be in a marriage. That's very nice, okay? So, that's why that's another thing, guys. That's why you can't throw everybody in one basket, okay? Everybody's designed a little bit different, okay? So, you'll find one person with Venus and Virgo where it's just hard as hell for them to date or get a person, right? That's because they don't have any type of opportunity or a resource to make that happen, okay? She had this, okay? So she had a nice sextile here, gave her the opportunity for marriage, the opportunity for love. Look at that. So that's a beautiful thing. Another thing she had a semi-sextile from the sun. So the sun gave her assistance, okay? So a semi-sextile, guys, it represents assistance and stuff like that, support, okay, growth and all that. So she had assistance from the sun with love, okay? So that's a nice semi-sextile. It's actually exact. I mean, it's absolute too. Her Venus is at 24 degrees of Virgo. You got the sun at 24 degrees of Leo. So, she had that resource from the sun to create that loyalty in her love life, right? That is just nice. I mean, really nice, okay? Another semi-sextile with Juno, okay? So she had assistance and support from the sun on both ends of the spectrum in her marriage and relationship, so she could do that. Another thing, of course, we got Neptune right here. Okay, it's right by the sun. Of course, we know Neptune is a higher octave of Venus. Okay, so even though it's combust, you know, it still helps. Okay, it still helps. Um, it's combust, and like I said, we're not going to get into the medical astrology part. Medical astrology is something that I do practice as well, but it became detrimental, okay, in her health, that combustion of Neptune right there, okay? So we're not going to get into that, but I'm just giving you a synopsis, guys, of her relationship dynamics, how they gave her, extra support, okay, from the sun. So, I mean, oh, that's beautiful. So that's why she had the opportunity and the resources for marriage and to stay in marriage. Of course, Leo rules, that loyalty, okay, that you need in a marriage. So that's real good. So she had that. So that gave her the ability to stay loyal for 77 years. Okay. It just did. All right. So she was designed like that. You have to be designed like that, guys. I'm sorry. All right. I mean, of course, you can learn to be like that and mold and shape yourself. But for people who are designed for marriage or long-term marriages like this, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. That's what you want, right? All right. So another thing, look at her moon. Her moon is in where? It's in the 9th house in Taurus. All right. The moon is exalted in Taurus. So, and it's look at that. It's heavily elevated, right? It's elevated in the 11th, in the 9th house like that. So her humanitarian efforts that she did, right? She did a lot of humanitarian efforts. And she, gave money to the, Mental Health Foundation and stuff like that. So that's good. All right. So, but not to get into that, but she, that's a sextile to her 7th house cusp. Okay. Now, that's a separating aspect, but guess what, guys? I mean, every little bit helps. Okay. And the moon, it still shines its rays. Okay. Upon that. So, so she had that going for herself. I mean, that's nice. All right. Now, time-wise, you can say that went so great, but when we put both of their charts together, you're going to see how that Saturn came into play. Of course, Saturn rules time and things like that, right? But it gave a nice little trine to Mercury. I mean, look at Mercury. Mercury is in Leo in the 12th, right? And it creates a nice little trine with Saturn, all right? So that's nice, all right? So that gave her the mental capacity to stay loyal. Again, that's another point on the loyalty factor, right? Loyalty through time. You see that? So that's a beautiful thing. So she mentally wanted to be loyal with that trine. That's a nice flow of energy, all right? So, trines are nice flows of energy synthesis. It's just a nice flow. It just flows together. And see, that's why I say with the squares and stuff like that, right? If you got water flowing, right, and you got a 90-degree angle that the water comes into, what's the water going to do? It's going to stop, right? So that's why, I don't know who said that, but whatever. Look, that's why squares are not so good in relationships, because it breaks the flow of it, all right? So that 90-degree angle breaks that flow, okay? It's not an even flow. It doesn't flow well, okay? All right, so, but that gave her nice little, flows of energy. It really did. So that's good. Another thing, you got her South Node in the 4th house. That created a nice little trine with her Sun and Neptune. So she was very easily and nice to get along with at home. The 4th house rules the home. And you have to think about that, guys, because look, when you're in a marriage, you have to live with that person, right? So you have to think about how that person is at home, how that person lives at home, how they react to you in the home, okay? How they interact with you in the home, how they behave in the home, okay? So looked like everything was good. I mean, look at that. So that's really nice. So man, just some nice stuff. Nice stuff. All right. I gotta admit. So her chart is real nice. Now let's take a look at Jimmy Carter's chart. All right. Okay. Jimmy Carter. You know, he was born October 1st, 1924. So we had a little age gap, right? All right. So we know he was a little bit older than her. That's good. Age gap is really good, guys. He was born at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. He was also born in Plains, Georgia. So, I mean, the difference between now and then, guys, is that, look, we got a boatload of opportunities everywhere, options everywhere. We got online stuff, online dating. You know, they only had what was in their vicinity, right? I mean, he was able to travel and stuff like that, but you know, the window of opportunity to mate with someone back in the day like that, you had to look around in your area, okay? So it's not like what we had. But with astrology, you can narrow stuff down just like that, right? All right, so let's look at his sun. His sun is in the 12th house, 8 degrees of Libra, guys. All right, we know the sun is in his fall in Libra. And again, all right, we're not going to get on his medical issue here either, but we know what's going on with him, all right? And when you got the sun in his fall in the 12th house, of course, you know, it doesn't do well, all right? But let's just look at his relationship dynamics, okay? His planetary alignments when it comes to relationships. And his is really nice too. Okay, look at Venus. Look at Venus in Leo at 23 degrees, and look at what the North Node, 22 degrees. Neptune, 21 degrees of Leo. Got a stellium of planets up high in the 10th house, elevated. Okay, this guy knows how to love. Of course he does. All right. And look at that. It creates a nice trine to his 7th house cusp. I mean, that's beautiful. Even Chiron. So, especially Chiron. Look at Chiron and Venus. Absolute. Chiron's at 23 degrees of Aries. He got his Venus at 23 degrees of Leo. Absolute. It's absolute. All right. Look at his 3rd house cusp. He knows how to communicate love and loyalty to who he's with. Okay. He was designed like that. He had that nice stellium right there. So he has a grand trine with that stellium. Beautiful. All right. So we know he's designed for relationships. He brings a unique view to relationships himself, an expression of a unique view with Chiron right there. I mean, very nice, right? All right. So that's good with Venus. Nice trine right there. Now, Juno is debilitated. All right. Now, it's at 0 degrees of Scorpio. And we know it's at a critical degree there. We know that, right? However, it did create a nice trine with his 5th house cusp. All right? A nice trine with Pallas right here in his 5th house. We know the 5th house rules romance. So he was very romantic. So he got over that critical, well, he didn't get over the critical degree, but I mean, he overcame, right? It's things you can do to overcome that, right? So he tapped into his Saturn right here. Okay, so that's a nice trine with the 5th house. So he created a nice time with the romance. All right, real nice. I mean, he was, man. Look how freaky this guy was, man. I mean, look, Jimmy Carter. I mean, look at the sex. I mean, I'm sure they had really good sexual chemistry and stuff like that. It don't even look like he would do some nasty stuff, right? Or be, very romantic and very sexual, right? But I mean, with all that, with Juno and Scorpio like that, Saturn and Scorpio, and then he got the moon and Scorpio. I mean, come on, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, of course they had that sexual chemistry to keep them together as well. Beautiful thing. His moon is at 13 degrees of Scorpio. That's creating a nice trine with Pluto. Again, sexual activity, nice sexual chemistry with, a young lady because it's in Cancer. Look at that. That's nice, right? create a nice, it's a grand trine with Uranus. So he was spontaneous in his romance. I mean, man, shout out to Jimmy Carter, man. Look at him. So big ups to him. I mean, that's real nice, right? So, he had a lot of things just like her to create a romantic relationship that can, make its way into marriage. I mean, beautiful thing, right? I mean, it's nice. So, all right. So guys, I mean, they had a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Again, let me point this out too. His Mercury is in Virgo at 21 degrees. It's in the 11th house. Okay. We know he was the president of the United States. So the 11th house, of course, rules politics. Okay. And if we go back to her chart, what does she have in the 11th house, guys? She had Juno in the 11th house. So she was going to marry a partner. Well, I would say a partner, but a husband, right? That's what? Into politics. All right. So, if you want to see where your mating opportunities is, always look at Juno. So guess what, guys? She met a husband, which she got married. Juno rules marriages. A person who was in politics. Look at that. Also very powerful, okay, as well, because, look at that Pluto right there. So she did a lot in politics as well to be the first lady in her era. So, that's a beautiful thing. She was able to communicate to people when she was in politics with that Pluto, because that created a nice little trine with Vesta down here and Pallas. So she had repeat patterns of communicating that stuff. So, so he had a nice first lady. He had someone that could actually help him, okay? And once we put their charts together, guys, we're going to see how they had a lot of sextiles, a lot of trines, a lot of semi-sextiles. So they had a lot of resources together that really kept them stuck together for a long time, all right? Now, again, for him, he had a lot of good stuff. He really did. A lot of good stuff. Just a lot of good stuff, guys. Look at his Mars right here in Aquarius, creating a nice little trine to his ascendant. I mean, he had a lot of energy at home to get things done. Oh yeah, did a lot of stuff in real estate too, guys. Remember that he was building houses and all that good stuff? That's that Pluto that's that Pluto right there in Cancer. Cancer rules real estate. Boom. And that's all him. Look at that. That's absolute with his with his moon. So that's why he did a lot of that stuff. That's why he did a lot of that, all right? In his later years, right? After he, afterwards, after he was president, all right? So that's really good. All right, guys, let's take a look at their wedding date, all right? Now, they got married July 7th, 1946 at 2. Well, look, I put it at 2 p.m. I'm sure they probably got married at another time, but 2 p.m. is, it's 2 is dual, right? So Eastern Standard Time in Plains, Georgia. That's why I picked 2. I picked 2 o'clock because the duality of 2. But even if we're just looking at the planetary alignments, guys. That's what we're doing. And look, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, you can't always have a perfect day when it comes to picking a wedding day. With my clients, I try to get it as perfect as possible. Even if I gotta tell them to wait a year or 2, I do, because it does matter. Okay. They had a lot of good stuff, a lot of not so good stuff, but if you don't get married on a really, really good day, you can overcome it. You just have to work through stuff. I mean, they work through a lot in their marriage. Okay, guys, it's not all what they say. It's not all peaches and cream, guys. Since we're talking about Georgia, it's not all peaches and cream when it came to their marriage. Okay, they had some ups and downs. They had challenges, just like everybody else, guys. But looking at their wedding day, I mean, hey, it was as good as it was gonna get. All right, they was together 77 years, but I mean, look and see what they had though. Let's take a look at this. Look at Venus. Look at that. That sticks out. That sticks out heavenly, right? Venus is at 23 degrees of Leo. Look at that loyalty, guys. That's what you want. I mean, to be honest with you, you really want Venus to kind of be in Leo or something, either Saturn, something like that, create that loyalty for a long time. So, and they did have that loyalty for a long time, that love for a long time. I mean, he still talks about loving her and missing her, right? I mean, look at that. It's creating a nice semi-sextile to Saturn. Look at that, guys. That's for a long time. Saturn rules time. And on this day, I mean, it was semi-sextile. I mean, damn. Okay, so this love is going to be for a long time. I mean, it's, you know, it's in the degrees of 20. Okay, so that's in a later degree. That's another thing, guys. The degrees matter. Okay, to be honest with you, they do matter. All right. If you guys hadn't read upon or looked into it, did your research on decadence and dwarves, go ahead and do that. It's a zodiac inside of a zodiac. Okay. When you start getting deep into the charts and stuff like that, like I do, I mean, I'm not gonna have time to really, you know, break down because it'll take hours to go into the decadence and dwarves and all that stuff. Sometimes I point them out, but you guys get it. All right. So we just kind of looking at the planetary alignments today, but this semi-sextile is just beautiful. Okay, that created that time, that time and loyalty right there, guys. I mean, that is nice. All right. So that right there, I mean, it really it overcame the squares that they had here. I mean, because if you look at it, I mean, look at the sun. It's in Cancer at 15 degrees. It's damn square. I mean, absolute Chiron and Juno and Jupiter. So you would think that, hey, they're gonna have some, you know, squaring off. And yeah, they probably squared off in their marriage a lot. But you guys, you know what happened though? You know how they overcame that? Look at that trine right here. Look at that trine. They got Jupiter, Juno, Chiron, all trine in Uranus. The vortex and the North Node. All that, they overcame that square with that, okay? Because number one, they overcame because of what, guys? Look at the sign that Chiron, Juno, and Jupiter are in. It's in Libra, guys. What rules Libra? Look at Venus. Up high, right? Creating what? That semi-sextile with Saturn. So they overcame that, guys. And plus, with that trine, they was going to overcome it anyway through communication. Look at that. I mean, you got Uranus, the vertex, and the North Node in Gemini. That's all communication. That's how they overcame that. That's how they overcame that square. Okay, so you can overcome squares. This is not what stuck them together, though. What kept them together are the things that I pointed out, which is this Venus creating this semi-sextile with Saturn. Okay, and this trine, nice stellium trine. It's a stellium trine. Got 3 planets connected to the other 3. I mean, beautiful. Okay, that's what created that connection, that ever connection with them, and sealed it. Okay, so this is nice. I love it. Okay, and guess what, guys? Through it all, it's really they were lucky. Okay, on this day, let me tell you how. Look at this grand trine. All right, Jupiter rules luck, right? Of course it does. We all know that. It's in Libra. That's all about love right there, okay? Because, you know, Venus rules that. And then on top of that, look down here at the part of fortune. The part of fortune rules luck, all right? It's at 18 degrees. It's absolute, guys. It's exact. Look at that. And then on top of that, it's creating another trine with Uranus and the vertex. And of course, the vertex is what? It's a point of inevitability. So it was inevitable that they was going to be together. All right? It's inevitable. And look at the North Node. The North Node is about the future, guys. All right? So that grand trine is what sealed the deal on this day. I mean, they had all types of luck on this day. They should have played the lottery, to be honest with you. I mean, you got Jupiter and the part of fortune down here. I mean, trining. And it's trining Uranus, the vertex, and the North Node. I mean, they got a grand trine going on here. Just beautiful. So, I mean, they had it. They had a good thing. They had a good thing, guys. I'm sorry. It was just like, it was from a past life. I mean, look at the South Node here. It's at 20 degrees of Sag. Okay. So it just philosophically, that's if that's the goddamn word, just philosophical, from a philosophical standpoint, which that's what it is right here, that created a nice trine with Venus. So on that day, it felt like they knew each other from a past life. I mean, that's just damn nice. So their wedding day was good too, guys. So I mean, despite that little square they had there right there, I mean, shit, they overcame that quick. They really did. They overcame that quick. I hate to tell you, they overcame it real quick. Man, see if I miss anything else here. Mars right there, it's in Virgo. That created a sextile right there with the sun. So they had the energy. I mean, they was off the chain, guys. I mean, they was gonna be together regardless. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so now what we're gonna do now is take a look at how compatible they were, because that's what got them through the hard times, guys. And again, I haven't even did their charts yet. Jay-Z and Beyonce, we will get to their charts, okay? Because you have to look at how compatible you are in order to get through those hard times. Because these two were together 77 years. You're not gonna tell me they didn't have hard times. Of course they did. He even speaks about it sometimes. Let's take a look at both of them together. All right, guys. Of course, she's on the inside wheel right here, and he's on the outer wheel. Now, wow, I wish I could blow this up. Okay, so nice conjunctions going on, beautiful conjunctions going on, right? Some of them are combust, but when it comes to relationships, it really depends on the planet that's hitting that sun, okay? But anything that comes upon the sun, yeah, it can be combust in different ways. It can come out in different ways. Sometimes it can be negative, sometimes it can be positive, depending on the planet. If that planet can take that sun's rays, it won't burn it all the way out. We got a big planet like, a planet like Neptune right there. It's not going to completely burn it out, but it's going to combust it, okay? But that's a nice conjunction right there, okay? You got the North Node making a conjunction. His North Node makes a conjunction to her sun, as well as his Neptune. And of course, you got his Venus. His Venus is at 23 degrees of Leo. Her sun is at what? 24 degrees of Leo. All right? So hell yeah, you love her, okay? His Venus is sitting right on top. I mean, it's not right on top, but it's making an approaching aspect to hers. Okay? All right? So that's a beautiful thing. So that's that love right there already, just right out the back, right? So that's a beautiful thing. And guess what, guys? Here we go again. Look, and remember this. This is what's going to help you in your relationship, other relationships as well. The main reason that he said, one of the main reasons they stayed together was this right here. They did not go to bed upset or mad at each other. Notice the 12th house, guys. The 12th house rules what? Sleep. All right? Neptune rules sleep. Pisces rules sleeping. Okay? So they did not go to bed upset at each other. Why? I mean, this works for everybody, to be honest with you. I'm sorry. I will say that will work for everybody because they love to sleep. All right. If you got your sun or Mercury in the 12th or something like that, you're gonna like to sleep. Saturn in the 12th, you're gonna love to sleep and be isolated sometimes. These two, they like to sleep. They also got up and about, all right? But for the most part, they did not want to go to bed upset at each other, okay? They said, I mean, this is in his words, I believe hers too, if I'm not mistaken, but I heard him say that. They never went to bed upset at each other. All right. So, and that's one of the reasons they stayed together all this time. At least that's what he said. I mean, man, I see why. I mean, it works. If it works, it works, right? Let's look at some other stuff. All right. So, wow. Look at his Juno, guys. This is another thing right here. Of course, this Juno's at 0 degrees of Scorpio. It's in his second. It's in her second house. All right. So he may not have been good with money like her, or he may have helped her out with his son being there. So he may have, helped balance her out when it came to money. So that's good. His ascendant also is there. But his Juno created a nice trine with her 7th house cusp. So yes, they're going to get married. I mean, nice trine, beautiful trine, right? So that created that nice little, flow of energy for them to get married. Also, why were they married so long? Here we go again. Repeat patterns of this. Look at his Saturn. His Saturn's at 1 degrees of Scorpio. In what? It's in her 3rd house. So they had really good sexual communication, but they also had deep conversations a lot. All right. That created a nice trine with what? Again, her 7th house cusp. Saturn rules time, longevity. So yes, they were going to be married for a very long time. Look at that, guys. I mean, it's right there in your face. Repeat patterns of longevity. Look at Pallas. Pallas is at 4 degrees of Pisces. All right. Even though it's retrograde, that trine helps. Okay. It's retrograding back to that Saturn. It's retrograding back to what? Juno right here. So this is like repeat patterns. It's like he was always on every anniversary. It's like he's getting married again. Okay. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. That's nice, right? Another thing I want to point out is his Saturn and Juno trining her 11th house cusp. Look at that, guys. Again, politics. Real nice. So they flow good with politics. Is right there. Of course, you got Cancer on the 11th house cusp, which is really good for politics because Cancer rules the home, the country. That flowed very well. His Pluto is right in her 7th house. Right in her 11th house right there. Of course, Pluto don't rule. It doesn't move that much. It doesn't move as fast. But the biggest thing I want you guys to take a look at is his midheaven. His midheaven is at 28 degrees of Cancer in her 11th house. So the politics, her being with him and him being with her in politics is just beautiful. I mean, and look at his midheaven. It's making a conjunction to her Juno at 27 degrees of Cancer. So they made really good. They made a really good pair and couple in politics. I mean, it's all right there. The 11th house rules politics, guys. His midheaven, what he did as a career, which was what? The president of the country in Cancer right there. Nice, right? And she was the what? First lady. I mean, it all adds up, guys. These planets do not lie. I mean, it's real nice. That's a nice flow of energy right there. I mean, that conjunction is nice and beautiful. All right. So anyway, this is what kept them together for so long. Look at his moon. His moon makes a nice conjunction to her Vista. I mean, damn. Boy, like I said, behind closed doors, them two, they was pretty freaky. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, they talked some sexual stuff. I mean, deep. They had deep conversations, guys. I'm sorry. All right. I try to sound nasty in there, but they had a nice flow of energy. I mean, shit. I mean, this shit was nice. I mean, look at his again. They had a nice flow of energy. Look at his moon again at 13 degrees of Scorpio. Nice little trine to her Pluto. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Again, they had a nice energy, sexual chemistry. I mean, really good chemistry. Okay. Sex matters when it comes to relationship, guys. When it comes to marriages, sex matters. All right. I'm sorry. He saw her as she was sexy as hell to him, and I'm sure he was sexy as hell to her. I mean, it's a nice exchange here. I mean, they had a nice exchange. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, nice trine. Matter of fact, a grand trine. I mean, look at his Uranus. His Uranus was in her 7th house. That probably kept things spontaneous. Okay, Uranus rules spontaneous activity, right? So his Uranus created a nice trine with her Vesta and Pluto. So he was very romantic and spontaneous when it came to stuff. When it came to things, okay, especially talking to her. I mean, nice spontaneous activity. So that's a beautiful thing. They had really good communication. Okay, sometimes it doesn't look that way at home, but they did have good communication though. They really did. Beautiful communication. So religion. I mean, that's nice. I mean, they had a lot of good stuff. Very romantic. Look at his Mercury, 21 degrees of Virgo. Nice little trine with her vertex in the 5th. You see what I'm saying? That again, romance. There you go. Once again, it's a separating aspect, but I'm telling you right now, still has some energy. His Mercury is another thing connected with making a nice conjunction to her Venus. I mean, damn. I mean, that's another thing. She probably looked at him as the perfect man, so he looked at her as the perfect woman. I mean, goddamn, look at this exchange. Real nice. His Mercury being in Virgo like that, he's looking at her as perfect, okay? He's thinking about her because Mercury rules what? Thinking, okay? Thought. So he thought of her as perfect. When he connected with her with that Venus like that, oh yeah, she was perfect to him. And I'm sure to her, he was perfect. Because like I said again, guys, when you got Venus and Virgo like this as a woman or a man, it's very hard to find a mate because you're always picking out their picking out their flaws. Okay. Now, I'm sure she picked out some flaws that, he had, some flaws about, let's see, what flaws could she have picked out? She probably picked out some flaws, but it wasn't many, guys. All right. It wasn't a lot of flaws that she picked out about him. Matter of fact, yeah, it wasn't a lot. Maybe that flaw about him, being, because I see an opposition right here with Jimmy Carter's Aries. I mean, that's his will to act from his emotion and stuff like that. So, I mean, she probably picked him as a flaw for his will not to act sometime. Okay, but other than that, shit, I mean, but he probably came to a middle ground with that. Say, hell, baby, I'm gonna act. Shit, I'm gonna do it. Okay, so he probably overcame that. All right. But wow, I mean, they got some nice stuff. They got some nice stuff, guys. I mean, they're very compatible. Very compatible. I mean, her Jupiter. I mean, just a lot of trines. That's what I'm talking about. Look at his part of fortune. It's in Sag, 1 degree of Sag. Again, here go this luck thing again. They were very lucky to be with each other. Again, look at this. The part of fortune rules luck, guys. It's at 1 degree of Sag. It's sitting on top of her Saturn. I mean, damn. So they're gonna be together for a long time. Look at that conjunction. It's absolute. It's sitting right on her Saturn at 1 degrees of Sag. On top of that, look at the part of fortune in Jupiter. His part of fortune is creating a nice trine to her Jupiter. So that's luck. I mean, like here we go again with that sexual chemistry. It's in the 8th house, in her 8th house. So, I mean, man, it was hot. It was hot back in the day when they was young. I can tell you that right now. They was a hot couple. And Uranus, Jupiter and Uranus, nice trine with his part of fortune. I mean, guys, it doesn't get any better than this. And this is just looking at him on top of her, okay? But it's the same differences. I mean, we just kind of looking at their alignments and the houses and stuff like that. So, but guys, this is beautiful. This is what you want in a relationship, guys. I mean, hell, even Lilith did his thing, okay? Lilith has the ability to create or destroy. I mean, in this instance, it's creating all kind of stuff. I mean, his Lilith is up here in Gemini, 21 degrees. And that's all about how you communicate. That's nice. That's really good communication. So that Lilith created good communication when it came to a lot of stuff. I mean, when it came to her son, I mean, again, they had good communication. That's that right there's a nice sextile. See that? Opportunity. He had opportunity to communicate very well with her into the future. Look at that, sitting on top of her North Node at 26 degrees of Gemini. I mean, very nice. Vertex elevated right here. It's creating a nice trine with her Lilith in the 2nd house. So they made a lot of money together through the career they was in. I mean, through speaking engagements. I mean, geez. It's all good with them. I mean, to be honest with you. I mean, this is what you want to look for, guys. These are the type of things I look for when I do relationship consultations and readings and stuff like that. When I'm doing electional astrology and I'm making a determination, if these two people should get married or not, when to have the wedding and all that, wedding day evaluations. When I do all that stuff, I look at all this, guys. If it ain't a lot of trines like this, I do not recommend couples getting married or getting together or anything like that, because you have to have these particular planetary alignments in order for it to work, in order for it to have a long-term effect. You just have to. All right. Let's take a look at him with her on top of him. All right. And again, of course, we got the same thing, but look at his 10th house, guys. See that? I mean, she really helped him when he was president. I mean, that's real nice. That's real nice. Her son is, completely elevated in his 10th. Okay. So that helped him out a lot. She shined a lot of light on a lot of stuff. All right. Shine a lot of light on mental health. So that's a good thing. But just a lot of the same stuff, guys. I mean, it just got a lot of good stuff. Look at her South Node right here. It's at 26 degrees of Sag. And again, that's why it fits. See, when she came into his life, it's almost like she was from a past life, guys. I mean, with her, create a grand trine with him. That's why he loves her so much. I mean, it's almost like she was from his past life, guys. Her South Node alone is creating a grand trine with his Venus and the 7th house cusp. Look at that grand trine. His 7th house cusp is at 26 degrees of Aries. It's absolute right there. So, man, shit. Of course they're going to be together. Matter of fact, another grand trine. Look at Neptune right here. Her Neptune is elevated. Of course, Neptune is a higher octave of Venus, guys. So That's why he loved her so deeply, because with her sun and her Neptune and her South Node creating a trine with his seventh house cusp like that, man, he'll never love another woman as much he loves Rosalynn, guys. I'm saying that right now. I mean, this is what you want in a relationship. If you ever get this, guys, you want to stay with this person. I'm telling you that right now, because it's gonna last. This is going to last right here. And you can see it's gonna last. If I saw these two people together right here, and they came into, and they came to my office and stuff like that, and they said, listen, do you think we should get married? I would say, hell yeah. I would say, hell yeah, absolutely. And matter of fact, do it now. I would say do it now. I would recommend, them do it on a date that I specify, with nice planetary alignments, because I want it to last. But I would recommend these two people get married because they're very compatible. I mean, very compatible. Of course, they got some squares. It ain't all peaches and cream, guys. Yeah, they had some stuff going on, but goddamn, I mean, this shit is nice. I mean, for real. Every time I look around, I see a trine with them. I mean, look at this. Everything's just, not everything, but I'm saying they got a lot of nice points. It don't get no better than this, guys. It just doesn't. I mean, this is just very nice. That grand trine right there, it probably sealed the deal with everything. We talked about her vertex and his Mercury. That's good. Her Venus right here in Virgo. Let's see, what is it doing? What is it doing here? Whew, it's so much stuff with them. I tell you, it'll take a long time. So, okay, again, her living with him, real good. Venus in Virgo, nice trine with the fourth house, cusp. Beautiful. All right. Nice trine. Nice trine with the eighth house there. So, and again, her helping him with politics. Look at that 11th house. So that helped him with a lot of politics. It really did. They helped him out. All right. Although she was in the background, that helped. All right. Just helped him in all kind of areas. So that's a beautiful thing. The North Node right here. Really good church going people, very religion. That's real nice. And that's another thing, guys. Look at her Juno. Her Juno is elevated in his chart. It's elevated in the ninth house. I mean, that rules what? Religious, perspectives and stuff like that, philosophical perspectives. I mean, this is real good, really nice. Now, although that Juno is making a separating aspect to the seventh house club, that shit, it does not matter. It don't matter, guys. All right. I know it's making a square, but they overcame that square with that grand trine. That big ass grand trine, they overcame all that shit. So, but being that it's elevated and right by his 10th house, I mean, he always speaks about her being a partner in his career, and that's true, guys. Juno rules partnerships, and she was an ally and a partner in his career when it came to politics. I mean, that's her right there. So that's real good. That's really good. All right. Wow. A lot of good stuff. Due to the fact that it's elevated like that, it's in Cancer. You see where her moon is, because the moon rules Cancer. Where's the moon? Right in his 7th house. See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, so those planetary alignments it overruled a lot of that stuff. It did. It overruled a lot. So, God, just a beautiful thing. Her North Node right here in Gemini. creating a nice trine to his ascendant. Whoo, boy. I mean, boy, that had nice communication. Grand trine. See all these grand trine guys? I'm just pointing them out. This is what you want in a relationship. You want a lot of grand trines. You don't want a lot of squares. All right. You got this North Node right here, 26 degrees of Gemini. You got his ascendant right here in Libra. You got his Mars right here. Nice trine. That's a grand trine with the North Node. That's going into the future. I mean, boy, God was looking out for him. That's all that philosophical stuff. So, this is why they stayed together for so long, guys. 77 years. We can learn from this. I know the hell I do. Okay, when I look at people that's been married for 60 years, 50 years, 77 years, in their case, I'll always take a look at their charts and see how that happened and what made it happen. So, and then apply that to all of my clients, apply that to myself, everybody else. This helps. This is how the elders help us, okay? This is just data, guys. So you're gathering all this data. This is what helps everybody, all right? So this is how Jimmy Carter and Rosalynn Carter stayed together 77 years, guys, from astrological standpoint. This is a beautiful thing. I swear to God. I love it. Love it, love it.